You will cry when you hear about the rescue of this whimpering puppy that was left behind at the grocery store. Because dogs are so lovely, it often surprises people to see strays that have been abandoned. Even worse is when these stray dogs are still puppies. These little animals are abandoned on the hard streets to fend for themselves after losing their mother. This is just what befell one unfortunate dog, but his inspirational tale will bring you to tears. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. For one lady named Carmina, it had begun as any other day. As usual, she had got up and gone to prepare her own breakfast. But when she entered her kitchen, she discovered that she had very little food. In addition, she knew that some of her relatives would be visiting her home for a supper later in the day because it was Easter. The woman made the decision to go to the grocery to get additional food, since she knew she would have to prepare for a large group of guests that day. She had no idea what was waiting for her there. When Carmina returned to her neighborhood store later that day, she saw something peculiar on the steps as she got closer to the door. It was a little dark form. The woman initially believed it to be a piece of rubbish, like an abandoned old coat or a black garbage bag. However, as she approached, she became aware that the object was in fact moving. It was living, but the size of whatever it was could only be that of a juvenile animal. Carmina approached the unusual thing cautiously, fearing that it may be a sick wild animal. A raccoon or maybe a skunk may have had rabies, which would render them extremely agitated and prone to attack anyone approaching. The virus that causes rabies targets the central nervous systems of mammals. It frequently causes vomiting, erratic movements, uncontrollably high levels of excitation, dread of water, paralysis, disorientation, and loss of consciousness in affected animals. Carmina was cautious to approach the creature since uncontrollably aggressive behavior is the worst symptom experienced by sick animals. But her curiosity overcame her, and she edged nearer. However, she was taken aback when the animal was just a few steps away from her. It was a little puppy, not at all like a wild skunk or raccoon. The poor dog was obviously in distress, and as the woman approached it, she could hear it whimpering and crying out for assistance. Carmina was devastated by the sight right away. How could someone let such a helpless and destitute animal to fend for itself, much less a puppy that doesn't know where to get food or how the outside world functions? The mom was even more heartbroken by the small puppy's apparent illness. The dog had some kind of mange since his face was entirely bald, and the rest of his fur was matted and flea-covered. Carmina estimated the pup's age at about 2 months. Based on his size, he had really experienced a dreadful start to his life. The woman took the puppy and brought him home, naming him Aurora right away, realizing she couldn't just leave him there. Carmina made sure to give Aurora a bowl of water and some food as soon as she arrived home. At first, she fed the puppy only a tiny quantity, since she didn't want him to overeat, which would only make him worse and more dehydrated. Even with the modest serving, Aurora consumed the food as fast as his small lips would allow. Following that, the woman bathed her new dog buddy to remove all of the filth and presumably some fleas from his fur. The dog became alert after eating and taking a wash. He started to play much more and wagged his tail joyfully. Carmina could see how thoroughly delighted he was to have a warm, safe place to sleep. Carmina brought Aurora to the veterinarian the following morning to see whether there was a serious issue with the puppy's health. Following his examination, the veterinarian informed the woman that the dog had mange, fleas, worms, and emaciation. In fact, the vet had to shave the poor tiny pup's fur in order to treat his flea infestation. Though none of those conditions were beneficial for the dog's health, fortunately, they could all be treated. All the dog needed was a little extra care to ensure that everything was healed. In order to get rid of all the unwanted bugs, Aurora was first given worming medication, an external flea treatment, and another wash. He also received vitamins to boost his immunity, premium dog food to make sure he had all the nutrients he needed to develop healthily, and a special cream to cure his mange, which he had to apply on a regular basis. In addition, the first of 10 shots of antibiotics were administered to him, helping to boost his immune system and prevent any infections or diseases that he could have picked up during his unwell state. Carmina took the small dog home after his visit with the veterinarian. Even though she was aware that the dog's recuperation would take a while, she was committed to seeing the small pup through to the finish. Carmina watched Aurora closely the next week to make sure things didn't suddenly turn bad for him. Fortunately, this did not occur, and the puppy's antibiotic shots were quickly completed. As the weeks passed, Carmina saw that Aurora's conduct had changed significantly. The dog was acting just as a puppy should, waving his tail more and being much more animated and joyful. In addition, the dog's skin started to recover from the mange over time. The antibiotic cream he was taking on a regular basis was really helping him, and soon the pup's fur started to grow back. Carmina saw that Aurora's coat had changed from being spotty and muddy when she had first discovered him to a stunning black coat of fur. In order to monitor the dog's general health and progress, the woman made sure to accompany him to all of his veterinarian checkups. Aurora was not only getting healthier, but she was also getting larger. The pup was able to grow normally because he was eating good dog food and didn't have to forage for his next meal. When Aurora was 3 months old, just 1 month later, he had grown to be considerably bigger than when he had first entered Carmina's life, weighing 10 pounds or 5 kilograms. Aurora developed into a full-sized dog after a few more months. He appeared to be a collie hybrid, but Carmina wasn't able to identify what the hybrid was either. As for his health, it had fully recovered. Carmina was astounded by how much the dog had changed from the first time she had seen him. He was no longer a fearful and ill puppy. Rather, he was a mature, active puppy who was eager to find his permanent home. Fortunately, Carmina didn't have to search long to locate a family seeking a new four-legged member, and Aurora was soon adopted. The little dog had at last found his everlasting home, and judging by their devotion for him, there was no chance that he would ever have to fear about being abandoned on the streets. What a fantastic tale! Animals that are lost or stray are given a much-needed second shot at life because of people like Carmina. Get in touch with your neighborhood animal shelter to see how you can help animals in need, like Aurora. Please leave a comment below with your thoughts on this tale. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.